Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth, Anthrax. But what are my top 10 songs from them all? That's what I'm here to tell you, bitch! Quickly before I get started, I feel I may have some sunburn going on as I'm not used to this great fire demon blaring down on my fair country of England, Hampshire. A while ago he requested that I do a top 10 of the big four, so that's what I'm here to do. I hear buzzy buzz, I hear buzzing. Wasps are bastards. They're just bastards. Number 10. At number 10, I've put my first and only Anthrax choice from this list, which is I Am the Law from Among the Living. I've never been a huge Anthrax fan, no disrespect to them. They just never really, they were just one of those bands I never really got into for whatever reason. But I Am the Law. To be fair, there were quite a few songs from theirs I could have chosen, but I Am the Law is always the one that I kept coming back to. Back in the day, in the back when times, and I suppose I still am, a big fan of the 2000 AD comics, and any song that is written about Judge Dredd, well, that's why it's number 10. 9. Number 9 is my first choice from Slayer. This one might come as a bit of a surprise to some people. Payback from God Hates Us All. I just really enjoy this song. Really fast paced, but tuned down low as hell. Payback's a bitch, motherfucker. I've got no real justification for this song other than every time I hear it, it charges me up and it makes me want to fucking move. Inspiring. 8. Number 8 would be my first of 4 songs from the mighty Metallica, and that is The Thing That Should Not Be. This song is of course off the wonderful Master of Puppets album. Heavy as fuck, really slow, lumbering, and conjures up all sorts of imagery of cyclopean-sized motherfuckers. Cliff Burton was all over the Master of Puppets album, and I know that it was his influence that inspired everybody with the H.P. Lovecraft literary side of things, and this was my first exposure to that wonderful writer. It's fair to say that Hetfield's lyrics between Ride the Lightning and And Justice for All were some of his most inspired. I really enjoy his lyrics on this song in particular, and there are a lot of references to the Cthulhu. There are a lot of references to the Cthulhu mythos in this song. For example, not dead which eternal lie, stranger eons death may die, which is a line from the infamous Necronomicon, which H.P. Lovecraft created, not Sam Raimi, although he did certainly do a good job with it. You can also find that inscribed on Eddie's grave on the Iron Maiden album Live After Death, if you haven't already seen it. Hybrid children watch the sea, pray for father roaming free, which is a reference to Shadow over Innsmouth. Great Old One, of course, returning to the Great Old Ones. Crawling Chaos Underground is probably a reference to Nyarlathotep. Out from ruins once possessed, fallen city, living death. Probably a reference to Cthulhu himself. And R'lyeh, is it R'lyeh, wherever he ruled. That's some shit. But yes, Thing That Should Not Be, huge song, huge plodding song that makes you think of those great old ones of which it was written about. Awesome. 7. Number 7 is my first appearance from Megadeth. This may be a surprise to some people as well. Set the World Afire from So Far So Good So What, which is one of my favourite Megadeth albums. A lot of great stuff on this one. I absolutely adore the intro, Into the Lungs of Hell. It's a great instrumental, really showcasing just how on point this band were at this stage. But it segues perfectly into Set the World Afire. Starts out with a sample of the Ink Spots I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire. That harrowing kind of nostalgic memory. There always was to that sort of music back then, just the way it was recorded. All of it feels like a time capsule, like a memory. Then you have the bomb being dropped, the nuclear bomb, and going off to signify we are all now in hell. We are all now in the apocalypse. Red flash, clouds choking out the morning sky. They said it'd never come, we knew it was a lie. All forms of life die now, the humans all succumb. Time to kiss your ass goodbye, the end has just begun. Also, I love it, if nothing else, for the fact that it reminds me of Fallout 3. 6. Up next we have Creeping Death from Ride the Lightning. Metallica, of course, one of their all-time classic songs. Huge crowd pleaser even to this day. The die, 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 die. I mean, be careful, please. Be careful, but die, die. I think the only song that's probably been played live more as Metallica is Seek and Destroy. Creeping Death never ever fails to get the crowd going. Again, showcasing Hetfield's inspired lyrics. Tons of biblical references in this song, taken from the book of Exodus. And this is actually written from the perspective of the destroyer, telling of the plague of death of the firstborn. You should never shoot into the sun. So let it be written, so let it be done. I'm sent here by the chosen one. So let it be written, so let it be done. To kill the firstborn Pharaoh's son. Hi, I'm Creeping Death. 5. Number 5. Is it number 5 or number 4? Number 5. War Ensemble. This is one of the few actual thrash songs on the list, surprisingly. Anyone who's seen Slayer live will know that time in the set when Tom Araya just suddenly goes quiet and then screams, War Ensemble! Bloody War Ensemble! And it's on! And from that point on, you just pretty much want to annihilate everyone in the pit. It's kind of one of these weird, kind of quite contradictory song. The lyrics in this are actually about the atrocities of war. It's not necessarily who wins or who's fighting for the right reasons. As Tom tells us in the song, the sport is war, total war, when victory is a massacre. The final swing is not a drill, it's how many people I can kill. A truly adrenaline-inspiring song that's actually about the atrocities of war and how many people are used as cannon fodder for the greater good of what? For Whom the Bell Tolls from Ride the Lightning. Another slow song from Metallica. And the second from Ride the Lightning. The song is named after the 1940s Ernest Hemingway book of the same name, For Whom the Bell Tolls, which is a story of the Spanish Civil War. And it actually references in there a fight for a hill. 5 people in particular make us fight on the hill in the early day. Constant chill deep inside. Shouting gun, on they run through the endless grey. On they fight for the right. Yes, but who's to say? For a hill men would kill, why they do not know. Stiffened wounds test their pride. Men of 5 still alive through the raging glow. Gone insane from the pain they surely know. Fuck yeah! 3. In third place is my final pick from Megadeth, and it has to be Holy War's The Punishment Due. Surely one of the greatest metal songs ever written. Apparently this song came about when the band were touring in Ireland, and Mustaine got wind of somebody selling bootleg Megadeth shirts in the crowd. So he went to have a word with the guys. As it turned out, the people selling the t-shirts were actually doing it for the cause, that being the IRA, and therefore they shouldn't be ejected from the concert. I'm pretty sure I remember an interview with Dave as well where he was saying shortly afterwards, that night when he was incredibly wired on stage, he said something about the cause, and the band ended up having to leave the gig via armoured van. I can't, I'm pretty sure there was a riot. Maybe I'm making all this up, but I'm pretty positive I remember all this. So anyway, he found out about this next day when he was hungover, didn't remember any of it, and I think this inspired him to write certainly the first part being the entire song's known as Holy Wars. The second part of the track, which follows the beautiful flamenco style lines from Marty Friedman, is the first part of the song is written about conflict, both in Israel, Palestine, and Ireland, obviously. It could apply to any conflict, I'm guessing. Fucking goddamn grouse. Goddamn grouse. Yeah. Fuck you. The second part of the song, known as The Punishment Due, was based on the Punisher, Marvel Comics. Read quite a few of them back in the day, not so much now. Haven't checked out the TV show either. What the fuck does that have to do with this? Number 2. My final pick from Slayer, Seasons in the Abyss. Again, not another fast one. Maybe one of you are thinking, well, what of Angel of Death or Rain in Bloody Blood? I love the fast stuff from Slayer, it's awesome. But there's just something about Seasons in the Abyss that really, it's just, they're so haunting. I love that intro to it, slow and building, and has that Eastern flavour to it. Of course, going along with the video filmed in Egypt, apparently without permits. I ain't down with that. Stick to the rules, guys. I love the way this song builds. Starts out with that slow intro, clean picked but sinister, that classic Slayer minor key chord progressions that they do. There's a sound to Slayer that no other band has. They just have that evil, they just nail those evil sounding chords better than anybody else. Slowly builds into that down-picked chugging riff before going into that more galloping style. Never really reaches quite thrash speeds, but it's fast enough. It's good enough tempo that, yeah, makes you want to move. And then Tom's voice, it almost sounds like he's on downers or something when he's on it. Not in a bad way, there's just kind of a distance to it. It's kind of quite enticing in a way. But yeah, number 2, Seasons in the Abyss. Fucking awesome. And the moment you've all been waiting for, 1. What could it possibly be? I know, you're sat there, you're wondering, what on earth could it be? But what? It's Orion by Metallica. It's Orion by Metallica. Maybe this might not seem like an obvious choice for a lot of people, but the reason I chose this one, it's just one of those songs that I never get sick of listening to. Quite often with the heavier stuff, maybe I have to be in a certain frame of mind, so some of that stuff's maybe not to my liking all the time. But Orion, I don't know, I can't think of a single time where that's come on and I've turned it off. I've always listened to it. It's kind of like when you're flicking through the channels and the Shawshank Redemption's on. It's already halfway through, but you got to watch it, man. You got to watch it to the end, you know what I mean? That swelling bass that introduces the piece fades in slowly. Those drums from Lars, of course, before we get into the heavier guitars. Lots of guitar harmonies, great instrumentation. Of course, you've got that classic midsection piece. It was named Orion, obviously after the constellation of the same name, but apparently the reason for that was because of that classic Cliff Burton bass line that comes in at the midsection. It's had a spacey feel to it, had a kind of spacious, spacey feel. Don't make yourself out to be more intelligent than you are, Ben, you'll come unstuck me. Some great solos from both James and Kirk in this as well, and just such a well put together song, and another one of those ones that reminds you of just what a genius Cliff Burton was and why he's so sadly missed. My top song of the big 4, and I'd put it probably in one of my top 5 songs of all time, Orion. Never get sick of it. So that's that. What have we got coming up next, man? The next video you will no doubt hear from me will be for the Strong Boys 19, and that's my next subscriber request. He's asked me to review my favourite Black Sabbath album. What will that be? You'll find out. Next week is going to be a very busy one for me. New Melvins album, new Tesseract album, and new A Perfect Circle album. So there won't be any subscriber requests or anything like that next week. It'll be 3 brand new albums that I'll be focusing on. Tons of videos still to come out, so make sure you stay tuned. Well, by that I mean subscribe, fuck's sake, you know what to do.